They traded her for less than the cost of a bottle of rye. In the merciless winter of 1875, in a lawless mining settlement called Grim Hollow, a woman was hauled onto a crooked wooden platform built from wagon boards. A grimy canvas hood was knotted tight over her head, sealing her in darkness. The crowd roared as if they had paid for evening entertainment. Slush splattered her skirt. A pebble struck her shoulder. Men shouted vicious remarks, calling her damaged stock, spoiled freight, not worth a crust of bread. But one man did not join the laughter. Rowan Ashford stood at the edge of the mob, tall, silent, his thick wolfskin coat powdered with snow. He had not exchanged a sentence with another human being in nearly 7 months. He lived alone, high in the Absaroka Range, far from towns, far from noise, far from the ghosts that followed him. He had descended only for essentials: salt, cartridges, coffee, flour, nothing more. Then he noticed her hands. They were trembling violently, not only from the cold, but from terror. Raw, breathless, fear. Rowan understood that kind of shaking. The wind tore through Grim Hollow like a wounded beast, carrying the stench of sweat, soot, and stale liquor. The settlement was nothing but crooked shacks and sagging tents clinging to the mountainside, as if afraid to slide away. Hope did not settle in places like this. It arrived only to be buried. Rowan shifted the supply sack across his shoulder and started to turn. The sharp crack of a whip split the air. "Step right up, boys," a slick voice shouted. "No need to be shy." The voice belonged to Jasper Viper Kane, a drifter with greasy hair and a smile that never reached his eyes. He balanced on an upturned crate, grinning at the crowd. Beside him stood the hooded woman, wrists bound, her body quivering beneath a threadbare blue dress that offered no protection from the frost. "What's that you got, Viper?" a miner hollered. "A stray mutt? Or a woman?" Laughter tore through the gathering. "Bit of both," Kane replied. "Found her wandering near Red Butte. No name, no kin. Won't say a word. Silent as a grave." "Why the hood?" another man shouted. Kane sneered. "Trust me, you don't want to see what's under it. Face looks like it tangled with a cougar. Ugly as sin. But those hands? Strong enough to scrub floors and split wood." He rubbed his palms together. "Who starts the bidding at $5? Silence. $5 was steep for a woman Kane claimed was ruined. Even lonely men measured their coins. "I wouldn't pay $2, someone scoffed. The woman flinched, barely, but Rowan saw it. Her shoulders tightened. Her fingers curled inward. She wasn't merely cold. She was being crushed. "All right," Kane snapped, yanking her arm. $3. No takers. Men began drifting away. "Fine," Kane spat. $1. 1 silver piece. Or I leave her tied to a pine for the wolves." Something inside Rowan cracked. He wasn't a savior. He wasn't noble. He was a man who desired silence and isolation. But he knew what it meant to be discarded. He knew the hollow feeling of being treated like refuse. The woman stood motionless now, as if she had already surrendered to death. "I'll take her." The voice was deep, steady, edged with warning. The crowd shifted as Rowan stepped forward. He was broad and imposing, beard dark as iron filings, eyes hardened by old grief. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his last silver coin, the final money meant for his winter stores. The coin struck a barrel with a sharp ring. Kane's grin widened instantly. "Sold." He tossed the rope toward Rowan. "She's yours. Don't come crying later." Rowan said nothing. He stepped close to the woman, blocking the wind with his body. "Come on," he murmured. "Let's get you out of this." The mob jeered as he guided her away. He ignored every word. The climb back into the mountains was punishing. Snow began to fall heavily within an hour. Rowan led his mule while the woman rode, wrapped in his spare blanket. She never spoke, never offered gratitude, only breathed rapidly beneath the hood. 4 hours later, they reached his cabin, a sturdy log shelter built into a rocky ledge, shielded by towering pines. Darkness had swallowed the sky. Rowan helped her down. Her knees buckled, and he caught her easily. She was too light. Inside, the hearth was cold. Frost rimed the edges of the window. He seated her near the fireplace and coaxed flames back to life. Only then did he face her. The canvas hood still concealed her head. He pulled his knife free. She recoiled violently. "Easy," he said softly. "I won't hurt you." He sliced the rope at her neck and gently lifted the hood away. His breath stalled. There were no scars, no disfigurement. Her face was striking beneath the grime. One eye swollen and bruised, lips split. But beneath the injuries lay uncommon beauty. Her eyes were a piercing shade of gray-violet, sharp and alert despite fear. "He lied," she whispered. Her voice was refined, educated. "Who are you?" Rowan asked. She straightened her spine despite the cold. "My name is Eveline Harcourt," she said, "and I am accused of murdering the governor of Montana." The fire cracked loudly. Rowan knew that name. Everyone did. Silence settled thick as snow. Eveline Harcourt, wanted across territories, accused of poisoning her husband and killing Governor Alastair Crow, a bounty of $5,000, dead or alive. Rowan had purchased her for a single coin. "You're the most hunted woman in these mountains," he said at last. "I know," she replied calmly, "but I did not kill him." He studied her face. She wasn't pleading. She was furious. "Start from the beginning," Rowan said quietly. She ate first, venison stew and bread, like someone who hadn't seen a meal in days. Then she spoke. "The governor was my guardian," she explained. "He raised me after my parents died. He was strict, but fair. My husband, Dorian Harcourt, wanted his land that bordered tribal territory. The governor refused to sign away protections." She paced slowly. "At a banquet, my husband poured the wine. He handed me a glass. I passed it to my guardian. He drank." She swallowed. "He died within minutes." Her jaw tightened. "They planted the vial in my purse. I was arrested, but my maid hid me in a linen cart, and I fled." "And Kane?" Rowan asked. "He found me near Red Butte. He saw the reward notices. If he turned me in, others would follow." She looked at him steadily. "So, he sold me." Rowan glanced toward the window. "They'll come," Eveline whispered. He checked his rifle. "I don't tolerate bullies," he said quietly, "and I don't tolerate cowards who poison from shadows." For 2 days they lived quietly. She cleaned and mended. He taught her how to handle a revolver. He never touched her without cause, never treated her like property. On the 3rd morning, Rowan burst through the door. "Cellar, now!" Moments later, boots crunched outside. 3 men entered, lawmen in appearance only. One wore a crimson sash. "We're searching for a woman," the leader said coldly. "I live alone," Rowan replied evenly. They searched, threatened, tested him. Eventually, they left. "They'll wait," Rowan said after retrieving Eveline. "We leave tonight." They climbed under moonlight into the high pass. Snow swallowed their tracks. At dawn, rifle fire split the air. Gunshots echoed off stone. Rowan returned fire, dropping one attacker. Another appeared behind them. A blade flew from Rowan's hand. A shot rang out. Rowan fell. "Rowan!" Eveline screamed. Blood spread across snow. She grabbed the rifle and fired. The attacker collapsed. She dragged Rowan behind frozen rock, pressing cloth against his wound. "We must burn it closed," he rasped. Her hands shook, but she did it. When the gang leader advanced, Eveline shattered ice beneath his boots, sending him crashing into the frozen river below. Silence returned. Rowan still breathed. For 4 days, Eveline pulled him on a makeshift sled through unforgiving terrain. She hunted small game, melted snow, whispered his name whenever his breathing slowed. "Stay with me, please. Stay with me." On the 5th day, the mountains opened to reveal Ironwood Valley. She collapsed outside the sheriff's office. The door burst open. "Rowan!" Sheriff Elias Ashford shouted, kneeling beside his brother. "He's alive!" someone yelled. "Get the doctor!" Eveline lifted her head. "My name is Eveline Harcourt," she said steadily, "and I have come to settle a debt." Rowan survived. 3 weeks later, the courthouse overflowed. Dorian Harcourt sat smug at the front. Eveline entered wearing a modest green dress. "How do you plead?" the judge asked. "Not guilty." Rowan placed Kane's ledger on the bench. Records of bribes and poison purchases. The jury barely deliberated. "Guilty." Dorian was dragged away screaming. Outside, snow fell softly. "You're free," Rowan said. Eveline studied the town, the wealth waiting for her. Then she looked toward the mountains. She pulled a battered silver coin from her pocket and pressed it into Rowan's hand. "I'd like to make a purchase," she said softly. "What can $1 buy?" he asked. She met his eyes. "A partner." Rowan closed his fingers around the coin. "Sold." They rode back toward the high country together. The mountains kept their secrets. If you enjoyed this story of survival, justice, and unexpected love in the U.S. Wild West, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more powerful Western tales. Your support keeps these stories alive.